I hoped to be working outside today, but it's really quite miserable. Every time I step outside, it starts to rain. So I'm working in the back kitchen with my kittens. Well, just the one kitten at the minute, little Galadriel. Say hello. Oh, okay. You carry on then. This room is a complete mess at the moment. There's all the offcuts of the tiles that I've been cutting for the floor around here, and there's tools everywhere, and it's all backing up. There's things that have been in the corner over there for God knows how long, and crime of all crimes, half of the tools are missing from my tool board. That's because I've been lazy and haven't been tidying up properly. But I'm doing something quite exciting today, and that is I'm going to spray paint the first of the kitchen units. So spray it with white, so watered down white, just to get some, what's the word? No, it's not meow. It's not that either. Undercoat. Spraying it with a bit of undercoat, so then I don't even know if Jane's chosen the colour they're going to be yet. Anyway, get some undercoat on it so that the spray, the colour will go on without any bleed through. But it's quite exciting. That feels like we're doing things towards the finality of the kitchen, which, as you can see, is clearly a long way off yet. Let's do it.
We've owned this spray gun for a few years, having bought it in the UK to paint the exterior of a garden cabin where precision wasn't an issue. I've never used it to spray kitchen units before, and I was keen to get the spray pattern right before moving on to the actual units. What we don't want are drips. I know this is just the undercoat, but still, I'd like to get it right. After a little trial and error, I felt brave enough to try it for real. I'm not sure if it was the paint or my watered down mix, but it was spraying rather thin. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'll just keep spraying layers until I feel it's covered properly. I added 2 layers of paint before letting it dry and then adding a third. I removed the drawer handles before spraying, for obvious reasons. Meanwhile, Galadriel was practicing what she was going to say when the kitchen transformation is complete. For now though, this unit is just the first test. Before I can spray any of the others, I need to get the floor tiles finished.
Our village was having a vide-grenier, which literally translates as empty attic. There were some interesting items for sale, but I only had eyes for the roses. I really wanted 4 the same for the formal garden, but I let my nose guide me and I chose 2 pairs of delicious smelling roses. I'd planned to pave the centre of the formal garden, but I'm just going to leave it as grass for this year.
Oh dear.
Your string snapped.
String snapped. New string.
As luck would have it, Rory had a can of marking paint to help me to remove the turf more accurately.
That's not bad.
Go.
That's not bad. Not bad at all.
Give you an idea of how off we were the first time. We're quite off here, aren't we?
Yeah. We are, but it doesn't matter. It's just grass to cut away. I was doing it by eye, so that never really works.
Fab.
I realised that I'd taken off too much turf here, and so I had to put some back. Tinkerbell and Tiger Lily came to help. Over the last few months at the chateau, they've blossomed into playful little puddings.
Welcome to Jane's Find of the Day with Jane.
Hello and welcome to this week's Find of the Day at Chateau Pican. Today I'm talking about this mirror. It's charming, it's sweet, it goes with the theme of gardens and outdoors. It's pretty, it's fresh, it is rather lovely. You've got this sort of pretend big doorway inside a pretty house with balconies and flowers growing up all around it and steps to climb up to the door. It's very feminine, and I didn't think it would be hugely valuable, but you know, it's always worth checking out. And I couldn't really find anything that looks identical. It's obviously been hand painted. It's not grand, but it's well constructed. It's a proper solid frame. And if you look at the back, you can see that there's been a little bit of craftsmanship gone into, you know, you've got a solid wooden frame and the mirror has been hand placed inside the hole. And at the top, it says handmade in Peru. So that tells us where it came from. And yeah, it was handmade. Somebody decorated it, created it, and it's rather lovely.
A quick tomato update. I used the wood chipper to make, wood chips to cover the weed-suppressing membrane. I hoped it would deter the slugs. It may be working a bit, but it's not a complete protection. Some of the slippery little buggers are getting through the defences. Back in the kitchen, all of the tiles are now down. Grouting will be for another day. It doesn't look like the prettiest job, because it isn't. We're pushing the boundaries of rustic to the, well, not quite the nth degree, but we're pushing the boundaries of rustic to the umpteenth degree. My next job was tidy up some of your mess, Rory. This would spell the end of the back kitchen being used as a workshop. But that's all for the best, because it means it might actually be a kitchen again soon. And now welcome to the only ever episode of Can You Brush a Horse with a Squeegee? I don't have a good brush for Dizzy, and I need to go get one. And he is molting because it's spring, so he's trying to get rid of his winter coat. So I'm going to see if I can squeegee him. Our friend Karina up the road said that she once squeegeed a horse and it worked really well. So here he comes. I'll see how I get on. Wobbly. Did I ever imagine my life would lead me up to brushing a horse's arse with the shower squeegee? No. But here I am questioning my life choices whilst Dizzy considers tipping me for the massage. If I ever needed proof that life has no script, this is it. Well, that has been a surprising success. Hasn't it, Dizzy Whiz?
Yes, I think it has been a success also.
Can't argue with that. The moment that perhaps none of you have been waiting for.
I haven't been able to find anything that looks even similar to this beyond decorated mirrors of one kind or another. Nothing from Peru that looks like this, but I'm sure they were readily available. I suspect this would have been made in the 90s. There are other things in this room from Peru from that date. So it's a vintage item. I don't know if there were many made, but I suspect there was a little cottage industry making these. And it's just charming, it's just lovely. And I think, the value will be in the eye of the beholder. I think you can get similar items, particularly in the US, for only $40 and that sort of number, because I think those sorts of crafts, coming from at the time a not terribly well-off country, they would not have commanded a high price tag. But I'm not going to part with it. It will find its place here because it's one of a kind, and I really like it.
I've had my hat on all afternoon, so my hair's probably looking dreadful. My hair always looks dreadful, but you know what I mean. Just going around to do the horses, and the last couple of hours I've been cramming. This morning I was doing my French lessons, and ma professeur told me that tomorrow I would be sitting my French test. No warning. So tomorrow I'm doing my French test, and I don't know whether I'm ready for it or not. So the last couple of hours I've been really cramming, trying to relearn French. It's really hard. I'm trying my hardest, but I find it really difficult. But they seem to think I'm ready. So tomorrow I have a test. Oh. Anyway, I'm going to feed the horses now. Before I could reach the safety of the stables, I was attacked by a black panther. I stood no chance. Jane's in her element. We've come to a flower market in Mirande. Heaven knows how much money she's planning to spend today. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I'd wanted four the same when I was shopping for roses the other day, but I couldn't find four the same, so I bought 2 and 2. I've now got 4 the same, and they're absolutely gorgeous. It's the one I want. But then that doesn't really match the scheme that I've already started. So I'm a bit unsure. I think the purple ones are really beautiful, but these smell absolutely gorgeous. So it's so difficult.
I eventually chose 4 more of these large bloomed Eudora roses, having been assured that they would repeat flower during the season. Back home, it was time to get planting. The soil here is uncultivated heavy clay, so I've been pouring on compost, but it's still only a thin layer. I'll need to add literally tons of well-rotted manure over the next few years to transform the soil to create good growing conditions. Although I've referred to this as a formal garden, it's clearly a very rustic version of that, with more of the feel of a cottage garden. But that's what I love, as it marries together the architecture of the chateau on the one hand, with the very pastoral view over the lake and trees in the other directions. You'll be able to see what I mean when I show you the finished garden next week. The doggies thought it was brilliant.
Mummy's looking in the wrong place. There's no cat poo here.
With most of the flowers in, it was brilliant to finally start the fencing to delineate the symmetry of the garden. It still looks very messy here, and there were many hours still ahead of me. I finished it when Chateau DIY were filming yesterday. Of course, a garden is never finished, and this one will surely expand upwards and outwards. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.